very good morning to you guys. Hope you're doing well. It's been quite a crazy week so far, but we kind of knew that it probably would be. We've got NFP and then we've got CPI next week as well. So tomorrow we won't have a trade of the day because of the NFP. We also won't have a trade of the day on the CPI data release as well. And it looks like we're going to have a negative week, which is fine because we've had 8 weeks on the trot of positive results, and that would be kind of unusual, to be honest with you. So having like one bad week against 8 isn't too bad. We have one signal, and it might be a bit late today, but we'll have to wait and see. And so we had quite a bit of a shift on the 24-hour difference. We continue like this, we'll be risk on by Monday, Tuesday. VIX has been crushed below 30. And we are above its yearly pivot. Below 26.5, then we'll be quite risk on from a sort of fundamental technical perspective, because VIX is a very strong measure, probably stronger than the retail sentiment. This is what the big fish will be looking at, and all the whales and those the big boys and with their big pockets, they'll be looking at the VIX. They might be looking at retail sentiment, but they definitely will be looking at the fear gauge. So the bubbles are a little bit crazy. Got the euro, the USD, and the Swiss. The euro had made a big trip over here and then come back. Dollar did something similar. It didn't go quite as far, and it's come back. And the yen was over here as well. And so it's been quite crazy. The yen was over here yesterday, and it's a shot back. Now the Kiwi is strong and Swiss is weak. You can see it on the the horizontal plane. So Kiwi, Swiss, potentially. And so the yields rose. That could support a stronger USD, or it's anticipating a risk event tomorrow in the NFP, which is probably likely. These are rising just to buffer and anticipation of some risk off that we probably might get at the NFP. And so what's quite good here is that we had an inversion on the 12 and the 2. But they've reverted back to how they should be. So that we had an inversion here yesterday, and that is no longer there anymore. We do need these lower for risk on. Okay, that's important. These are quite risk off, especially the fact that we've got this big curve as well, the inverted curve. We want things to be going up like that, not like down. Okay, and so there's a big shift in the sentiment. So that's going to help our big picture. So I think Monday, Tuesday will be risk on, and then it'll be a trap for the retail guys. And the NFP is going to be the trap, I think. And a bad NFP should do the trick, but we'll have to wait and see. So there's green sells on quite a lot of things. So EU buy, German 30 buy, for example. Be careful because you do want to look at your technicals and fundamentals as well. This is purely sentiment only. It's just a retail sentiment. So I was wondering about the dollar, and we were like minus 25% on the pound cable, the cable rate, and now at 19%. So I think we probably was a bit of profit taking and capitulation there, and the Kiwi USD was at 24%, and that's come off as well. And whether or not this is the turning point on the dollar remains to be seen. That's the thing. If we go risk on next week, then yeah, this will be the top on the dollar. But we don't know what next week's going to hold. And potentially we're going to be risk on, like I say at the very top of the video. So that's the only thing we can go by. We can try and estimate what the future is going to hold by looking at the time difference. This was quite a shift. If we see another shift like this tomorrow, then yeah, I think Monday will be risk on. So today is very important. And so there's the GU being the leader and UC is the laggard. So that's the same as yesterday. Our signal came a bit late. Admittedly, I woke up at 7 today, and it might have been a bit late. Had I woken up at 4 a.m., it would have been better, and we could have caught a lot of that move. But that's just, I need to sleep. And if you heard my cat, then I apologise. She's got a lot of energy. So if I woke up at 4, we could have caught a big move. But, I would have been absolutely exhausted all day today. And that's just how it is, I think. So we're probably going to be good to buy the retrace if we get a retracement on our trade of the day. So just keep an eye on your small time frame and try and get it to align technically, and it could be good. And there's some tiers if you want to join us, which is more than welcome to. We try and run some promotions at the start of every month just to get you guys on board. But if you wanted to join, that's fine. You're more than welcome. Patreon.com, Quasidb, Discord, the Telegram, SSI snapshots. So there's S&P daily, and we're above the 21 moving average now. So that is probably going to be a support. So 3,700-ish, just shy of that number. We've got the 21 moving average support. So technically probably okay. Now we're actually at a buy at the static level on the S&P. See how we've flipped over the 0, we're -1. So that's good. So we need these guys to short it, and then that number will get further away from 0 and it'll become a stronger buy over time. And it's sideways, but that's that value there. So we're negative, we're below the 50%, and if we're below, then it's a buy. If we're above, it's a sell. So that's how that works. So hopefully that's clear. This fall in should shift the sentiment. Tomorrow's NFP will definitely shift the sentiment, and a bad NFP will be welcomed from a contrarian perspective, and because that will help move this. So if we get a rubbish NFP, the initial reaction, if it falls, that'll be like a trap. But or it could be legit. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to keep an eye on your sentiment. That'll give you a big clue. Sideways again. There's the buy. But I think we could be maybe a chop kind of day, and yeah, we might just be sideways on the sentiment. Looks quite sideways. Look at the moving average, and it's just there. It's pretty much horizontal, and it has been for the last 6 hours or so. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. And DAX. Now, I saw some news about the annexation of Ukraine from Putin. Said something, and it made the news. And I think he made some kind of speech or something. But it makes sense that this would be falling fundamentally speaking. But we did make a buy on the sentiment. Okay. I thought we might come down to test this the swing high, to test that like support, and then we can bounce for the next leg. But yeah, it might be a news kind of day, and we might be sideways. But this would be a buy sentimentally. But remember, we can't really look at things in a vacuum. We have to take into account all these other things that are going on there, influencing prices. This is a good indication, but there are other things at play, like the fundamental risk on and off flows. Now, gold's been it's been an absolute monster. I'm glad I got out of this. I got out with a loss last week, and I was short, and I'm glad I did get out because it just carried on. And no worries there whatsoever. The risk management is absolutely key. And had I not got out, I would have done a lot of damage. So that's the gold, and it's making a buy there. And the stop loss cluster is at 1800. Right, so it might just want to go up to get those stops. 1800, which would be absolutely horrendous. There's the stop loss cluster. There's the stop loss cluster for dollar Swiss as well at parity. The largest stop loss cluster is a U, and it's above at 65.50. And the largest mover was EA and EU, both for sell. Right, so it's going to be maybe a bit of a sideways day today. I'll try and wake up earlier. Oh no, we're not going to have a trade of the day tomorrow because it's NFP, so that's no worries. Yeah, I will wake up early on the CPI day if we decide to do a trade of the day on the CPI day, but we'll see how we go. I mean, ideally I get up a little bit earlier than 7, but I was been so tired. So Kiwi's got a perfect score. See, what happened is that they shorted it in a very big way, and price went up to punish them, and that's why it's got a perfect score. So negative tells us that they shorted it, and price went up, right? And likewise, CAD, they've gone long, and price fell. Admittedly, it hasn't really fallen much, but it has fallen. So perhaps CAD could fall more. And yeah, I mean, maybe we might have gone far enough on the Kiwi. Maybe we can go more than 1.23. That's the average price performance of the Kiwi crosses. 1.23 is fairly decent. So had you woken up early, you could have maybe have caught that. But, it's just one of those things. I was so tired. And they're getting punished for their bias, and this would be usual, so that's fine. That's got a perfect score. Dollar's got a perfect score. You see, they've gone long, and the price has fallen. But you probably can fall a little bit more, maybe. And yeah, we had a minus 36 pips. It's okay. We're probably due to have a negative week. 8 positive weeks in a row is a bit crazy. Yeah, I mean, having 8 weeks of profitable gains back to back, solid gains for 8 weeks is quite remarkable. So really, we could be due for a negative week. We're about 140 pips negative this week. So maybe today is going to be a good one. Maybe we can do a trade of the day tomorrow, and then it will probably get us to break even. But I do think tomorrow will be risky because of NFP. So perhaps we can do a trade of the day tomorrow, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Technically, away from extremes, which is pretty awesome. We were strong sell for ages, we were strong buy for ages on a lot of these things, and they're moving away technically, so that's great. Economic calendar, I think all eyes on tomorrow, to be honest with you. We're going to have to pay attention to this if you've got euro exposure and then dollar exposure and CAD exposure. But I think probably all eyes on that, NFP, and also to keep an eye on your average hourly earnings. That's quite a good measure to check, and it's probably as important as the NFP number because it's like a quasi inflation reading, and gives us a little macro information about the state of the economy. If the average hourly earnings are going up, that's quite bullish. Okay, and that's what we want. If we're having rising inflation but wages are going up, that's probably going to be okay. Wages come down, the hourly earnings come down on this inflation backdrop, quite bearish. So keep an eye on tomorrow's data. It's quite important, and I think maybe eyes on that, to be honest with you. Keep calm, always trade safely. I'm not sure if we'll gather trade of the day tomorrow. If you watch this video and you're a Quasidb subscriber and you've got any opinion, let us know. If not, we'll probably pass, and yeah, then that's it. Then we can just resume next week. So if you just joined the Quasidb service, this week hasn't been a typical week, but we have to expect a negative week after such a long run. With 8 weeks, it's a bit bonkers, really. So trade carefully, and if I spot any setups like I did yesterday for the Kiwi Yen, I'll share them. If not, I'll just be watching and monitoring, I think. So we'll see how we go. Trade safely. I'll speak to you soon.